Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray!
Good morning. It is the 26th of October, 2019, and I have the wrong episode thumbnail here. The question is, did Bitcoin give us advanced warning before the big takeoff? I am curious to go back through the charts and to check out to see what was telling us. There we go. Did Bitcoin give us advanced warning? We had all those different points of study in our live stream that we went over our indicators, and did they really tell us something? Let's jump in here. First of all, I'll just slide past the disclaimer here. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. And it really isn't. It really doesn't include our trading plan. If you want the trading plan that goes along with this, it's free. Go over to the website intro-to-cryptos.ca and scroll down to sign up. I see that on the Brave browser, my email subscribe form isn't showing up, some browser issues, so I'll get that fixed. But if you're using Chrome, it should be working. Skoche, good to have you along. Are you guys from the Discord chat as well? Be sure to head over and sign up to that and chat along with us through the day as this stuff happens. Let me... I have some wacky issue that is giving me the own sound of my stream coming back from a source I don't know. And so I'm hearing myself double as I'm trying to do this stream the last couple streams here. I can't do it properly right now. I'll have to figure out what is going on with that. So let's clear this off and start off the routine. The purpose of this stream is to go through these three indicator sets across the different time frames, day after day after day after day, so that we can have examples like this, where now we can go back and point out what the indicators were saying at 5 a.m. each different day. I had them pointed out as we started. So we had 5 a.m., 5 a.m., we had a 5 a.m. here, and now we're 5 a.m. here. And in each of these different points, we went through all of the charts, we went through all of the indicators, and we correlated. What does this say? What does this say? What could this mean? If this happens, then this. And certainly the stream that I did yesterday morning is really important. I'm just going to go through the regular routine here, but then later I'm going to go through and watch each of those live streams, and I'm going to pull together the highlights from those live streams and talk about the significance of those indicators. So this was an enormous move. There was a lot of bearish indications. There was a lot of bearish sentiment all the way through here. And there was some really terrible, terrible tragedy stories in our Discord channel. One of the guys who's a free member was hanging out with us, and it was great to have him along, but he lost like 18 Bitcoin. He was short 5 times leverage, and he went from 20 odd Bitcoin to less than 2 Bitcoin yesterday in just a few hours, within 3 hours. 5 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 o'clock in the evening, he was wrecked. And so I really do encourage you, if you are trading and you're watching the stream and you're wondering what's going on, if you've been having trouble with your risk control rules, there's a philosophy that I would recommend that you go and check out. Sign up to our free training and get that stuff so that we can start talking about these philosophies, because it's something you would have to read, I don't know, every 3 months for 2 years, over and over and over and over and over and over, because many of us have negative emotional relationship with money. Many of us are in debt and angry about money, resentful about money, not, and because you're angry, for my own story here, I'm telling you my own story, because I was angry and resentful about money, I didn't really take care of it. I avoided doing basic, balancing your books at the end of the month. I didn't do basic budgeting. I didn't stick to a plan. It didn't feel good to manage my money. And this was so important. I read a couple books that I share in my website and along the way. I want to get the Ichimoku cloud here. And of course, I can only think of one thing at a time. So telling a story and trying to click on things is not working out so good here. Let me open this up to a new one because I want to get the Bollinger Bands open as well. And so before I got successful and had success at trading, because you're not always successful, it's not an event that you turn successful trader. Every single day is the battle against the inner dummy and to trade properly. But before I could have any success in it, I had to feel good about money. I had to like it. I had to love it. I had to take care of it like it was my friend. I had to bring it home and treat it like it was my pet and really fawn over it with positive emotion. I had to love it. I see we got a few more people joining us over on Discord right away. That's awesome. How was yoga? Actually, yoga is 8:30 or 9:30 this morning. It's Saturday, so it's a little later. But I did 2 yoga classes yesterday, and one of the yoga guys there is like a mountain climber. He's, I don't know, 30 pounds lighter than me and about 10 times stronger. It's insane to do yoga with him. Oh, right. Look at this. Son of a... The change that happened from yesterday to today is just phenomenal because what day of the week is it? This... I got to go back. I really have to go back and watch. Wasn't this down below our midline? Did that bitch actually switch completely on the weekly? I really have to go back and watch. I don't know. I thought for sure that had gone down below our key level that we were watching. And because it's a weekly candle, it's not finished yet. However, at this point, okay, it did. When we zoom in, it did. It was pulling down and it did pull back, but on the daily, it keeps some of that data because the daily candles close differently. So we did see our break that we were looking for in the RSI. That's a sell break. It's a definite, the trading plan here isn't the most important thing. It's the risk management plan. That's the most important thing. It's the assumption that we're going to get screwed over in trading, that it is manipulated. And even if it isn't manipulated, there's so many things we just can't foresee that we've got actually have to assume that this shit is going to happen. It's like a car accident waiting to happen. You get in a car, you put on your seatbelt every single time. You've probably driven 1,000 different trips and never had to use your seatbelt, right? You just take it back off at the end of the day. But every time you get into the car, you put on your seatbelt because you just absolutely don't know when somebody could side swipe you and knock you off the road, and you need your seatbelt. So that's the main thing that is really important on this. No matter how much studying you're doing, that the first stage of the trade is to plan it out. The second stage of the trade is when the trade is initiated, and that is the most important stage of the trade. And that's where most trading mistakes are made, right there at that very first moment. And so knowing what you're going to do with that moment and why will save your bacon. It's that seatbelt. Stage number 3 of the trade is still a defensive strategy. It's assuming that you're invisible like a motorcycle on the road and that everybody's going to hit you. They just don't even see you. So it's a defensive part of the trade. It's not till stage 4. We haven't got to stage 4 in a lot of these trades that you can really open up the nitro juice. Anyway, so this did pull back past the key levels we were looking for. And then yesterday, as we were looking, we were seeing this divergence from the prices. Was it enough to take even a tiny action, right? Even a tiny action would have felt really good to have that in your pocket. Let's go on. Let's go back up to the chat here. I did the chat differently along the side here. So it's pulling in. No more fucking around with the other thing that's not pulling in properly. Now I just grab it directly from the website. So I can't wait to get to the Ichimoku cloud, Tom. You guys are right with me here. I didn't look at this stuff this morning. I got up, had my coffee, took her easy, Aaron, good to have you along. Jam Shahid. Jam Shahid? Is that right? I'd love to hear how you said. No Jack, Low Jack, you're a slow learner. I'm a slow learner. This is why I started this stream, so I could stop making the mistakes I was making. I've cleaned up a lot of the crap and over trading and taking on too large of a position at the beginning of a trade, being greedy at the beginning instead of being fearful at the beginning. Those things I've really cleaned up by going back over this stuff all the time. Now, why? Now I know why we watch BTC ratio of an alt and not USD. Yesterday was the perfect example. Yeah, I don't watch the USD because that's, for me, it's a whole separate world. USD and money itself is a whole separate world. And when I first started out trading cryptocurrency, I was able to leave my cryptos over in the other world and not mess with them and not play with them. It was separate money, like play money, monopoly money. And so I want to trade back and forth inside the monopoly money world and get more of it. And when I need to take some out to the fiat world, I do, but for me, they're different games. And I got really good at the crypto world and my trading world and managing that money and loving that money. And it's washed over into my real world, the fiat world money. Now I take much better care of that money and I like that money. And it's just been great all around, but you got to start off with that love in it. And so that's one of the reasons I keep the BTC and the alts and I don't do the alts versus USD. He can start long positions at 8,300 and let it work for you. We're bullish over here. Yep. USD went up on many alts, but BTC ratio dropped for many. Indeed. I think 91 to 92 is our current support. This weekly has to close above 82 to continue the bullish trend. Stop using this bad word if you want to monetize your channel and you deserve it. Thank you, Anne. I will stop swearing. Hi from Lisbon, Alfredo. Good to have you along. And I'm not worried about monetizing the channel, really. If you guys want to put a super chat up, that's awesome. You help pay for my yoga. I'd love it. But I don't put ads on my videos. Those are such a pain in the keister. I hate them. And they make such pathetic income. Anyway, I'm way off track here. It's okay to be off track sometimes. We're really going over the same thing every day, and there's different philosophies around it. So now my eye is going back and forth to this spot on the chart, back and forth to this spot on the chart. It's the only place in the weekly that we had, buying, and then a dip of selling, and then more buying. Coincidentally, it's also March of 2017, where Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $3,000 in this period of time, and alts went up 1,000 to 4,000%. It was crazy. I'll bring up that spreadsheet. Do I have that spreadsheet? I do have. This is the spreadsheet, the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet study of the March to July 2017, December to January, May till April 2018, really back testing and case studying the trading system that I use against all of the alts. And this was done using like a worst case scenario. If you use the least good rules, right? You got in just on the 12-hour EMA cross and out on the 12-hour EMA cross. Never mind anything better than that. We're making 3,000% gains over this period of April, from March to July of 2017. And right here, you can't see it in this chart, but the very beginning of March, we had a dump in the altcoins, much like we're having right now. We had Bitcoin dominance spike up, and then things flipped. Bitcoin dominance started to slide big time, and we all know the rest of the story. So this moment here in time is really important. And what happened here with Bitcoin pulling back the way it did, and then on it went for some craziness. This tripled in price, and the altcoins went with it right at this time. Let's go into the daily view and see what's going on, because this is an important colored candle. And when we're seeing these start to flip now in the alts, I really want to pay attention. So all of the alts that have dumpage going on now, as soon as they're flipping with this kind of candle color change from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, from the bottom it's green. From the bottom it's green. Those are the ones I want to pay attention to. They don't always work out, but when it does go, those are there. So I want to pay attention to them and note them in our studies because look, here it is again, really deep. So this really started off, boom. And of course we know it in hindsight, but now I'm watching to see where exactly could this have given us the insight that we had that divergence from the price level. That's the kind of thing that I want to document. I can't use it on this trade, but I can use it on the next one as this is coming up. This is more confirmation of this divergence of the super dumping and then switch to buying while the prices are flat. Let's put this in our pocket because we're going to see this again. This isn't a one-time thing for sure. That's the 1 hour time frame. I want to zoom in to see swarm of buying and this ascending, what I call a leaning candle, a flaming candle. You know, if you have a candle and you're blowing on it gently, the flame is leaning off to the side. Boom. And we've seen this leaning candle a few times. Leaning, boom. So when you have this candle and the leaning flame, boom, there's shit coming. Sorry. There are some big moves coming. That's awesome. I'll assume that my mother is on the stream. I would never swear if my mother was on the stream. But if I was just hanging out with my buddies, I would definitely swear. Here, look at this histogram switching directions big time. I do have to go back and see yesterday now because I'm certain I looked at this and it didn't look the same. I'm certain that this thing has really shrunk overnight. This has absolutely changed direction here, that the angle of this right there. So this is really nice to see it switching direction. When was the last time, or what did this do rather, in March of 2017? It was in a downward movement and the histograms pulled themselves up. Let's expand out now to see the time frame in this. That's 2016. So all the way from 2016, it just came back. It did double under here in 2017. It just crossed under. So we have a different, like it really crossed big time. It is different than that in 2017. Okay. Clear that off. And on the 1 day time frame, we can see the crossover. And this was showing itself up. As we zoom in, this daily cross was showing in the middle of this bear trap, what we know is now the bear trap. Before the bear trap broke out, this was crossing positive. And it was something that I was posting in our Discord chat to say, hey, check this out. This is the thing we're looking for. And here it is. The 12 hour had started to break positive. But we were already zoomed in on this candle when this 12 hour was going. It was switching before. We had time to use it. So if I go into the 4 hour time frame now, again, we had time to use this. That cross happened before it took off. We had the divergence setting up here. The price was flat. This was, what is this? The hidden divergence? The hidden positive divergence where we have the cross underneath at this time. So that gave us what we needed to see. I don't recall that the relative strength index was quite as strong. Let me go back. Make sure I'm getting everything. Morning, B8. Good to have you here. No, you just, BU came close to about 3 months ago. Nice to see. Came close about 3 months ago. I got to scroll back. There's more conversation I'm missing. Crown crypto swears all the time. Not for me, but you can just, if that's for you. No worries. Let's continue on here. Now, on the 1 hour time frame, we have the cross to the positive, but we had the cross to the negative as this topped out. So these are the things that I'm also really keen on, and I didn't look at all on the relative strength index to see what was going on at the top. 15-minute view, so we can see, brutal, like difficult. This on this leaning flaming candle, which I knew was bullish, and I was thinking this is going to take off. This was pulling back, so we had the, what is this? The bamboo effect. Pull back, wham. Pull back, wham. So we're going to get another bamboo effect right now out of this. Right now. I don't often make projections. I don't like to make projections, but I can make a call on direction. And then I don't know where it's going to go once it passes my entry point. There's no way to know. It's crazy, right? So once it gets past my entry point, I put my stop above my stop above my entry, and it's not my job anymore. I stop thinking about it. I leave it alone, and that's the best part of trading for me. Is once we got a profitable trade, then my job's done. It's awesome. I don't have to work. But when it's down in this kind of area and you're setting up your position, it's work until you're set up in your position. And once you're proven positive, then it's not your job anymore. And now it's the market's to decide how far it's going to go. And so for sure, if I had been deciding how correct I was, I might have gotten out here, and then I'm missing out on the big move. So I try not to let the market, I try not to make the decision of when to get out. The market makes that decision. And I'll leave my stop 2 technical levels behind. So this is the first technical level behind the price. This is the second technical level. That way they can come through and stop hunt everybody else, but they're going to have to stop hunt a little harder to come down and get me. And I don't count anything above this as profit. Yeah, sure, that's wonderful. It's all paper profit, but this is the locked in stuff, right? This is the juice. The rest of it is all flour and fluff, and it's all theory until it's either, until it moves and I move my stop loss up. And anyway, that's how I try to play my entries and my stops. So it's a little bit different, I think, than many of the people I'm watching. They'll put, or I've seen, they'll give an entry and 3 different exit points. And how do you know where to get out of? How are you supposed to decide that? The market's too unpredictable for us to decide what's going to happen after I get in, never mind where I should be getting out. So if I'm getting out, I decide on that, I'm taking over the market's job, and I usually do a worse job. So here on the weekly view, we have a cross to the negative. We did have a cross to the negative a while ago, and that's still bearish. Even though we have this big, huge candle upward, this doesn't look bullish. Wow. Okay. We really went through the cloud there. That's a hammer of a candle. Holy crap. Right through the cloud and back. So my original idea was that we are going to come up into this cloud and we'd be looking for a sell signal in the downtrend heading for the 5,800 level. Are we still going to do that? I'm going to still be watching for that now. I don't see it yet. Nothing has jumped out at me that's going to be, but let's watch it and study it as though that is what it is, and we'll see what the data tells us. But no way could you have traded this in the Ichimoku without just gambling. Once that candle is so long and you're getting into something like that, for me, it just doesn't work out. I got to wait for those consolidation points. And I wasn't looking for a bear trap. Wasn't looking for it. So this absolutely blew through again, and it's a kind of trade that my system actually filters out. I actually try to filter out this stuff because it's too unpredictable, and who knows. Usually, for my own part, if I start jumping on a big candle, that's the moment it's coming back. So as soon as there's a big candle, I gotta step back. I can't do it. If I'm not already into it here, if I'm not already into it with a small position that this is still inside my stop levels, then I can't jump on after it starts. So what am I looking for here? I'm just observing. Let's zoom in, the 15-minute time frame. So it's just lifted off of this. Let's go back, because yesterday we must have been looking at this. Let's go back. Yeah, there's no... The cloud was big, thick, sideways. There was no picking this out from the cloud at that time. That is just not possible. This is not the indicator for that. But now as we zoom in, what's it doing with the cloud? Because if it comes up off of this cloud now and it's breaking higher, that would be a confirming buy signal. And no brainer, of course, if it's starting to break up like this, now we have a parallel channel as well, kind of. But this is a 1, 2, 3 formation setting up, and with our MACD giving the crossover there as it was, that gives me the feel that it's going to be going up more from here, and we're going to get that big candle upward again. Let's go to the Bollinger Bands, zoom out to the weekly view. again, this is Wreckage City. It came so far below this, but you know, the cloud didn't widen up. This came below too, so I don't know. And I still haven't done my Bollinger Band research. I haven't done my homework. So I'm kind of, just observing it, trying to pick out some patterns, make my brain recognize them. And then when I do the studies on these different Bollinger Band resources, I hope that they are starting to confirm some of the things that I've been picking out with my own pattern recognition attempts here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. No, there's nothing here for me. It would be luck of the draw. Just for me, it would still be gambling. Okay, it's down below. I would buy, get, sell, buy, sell. It's true, but I haven't got it burned in my brain enough yet. Now, when we were watching this on the 1 hour, back up, 1 hour time frame here yesterday, this was where we were saying, okay, this is the most insane narrow neck we've seen. I went back through looking everywhere. This is the most narrow neck we've seen. Hello. Along with the other divergences that we saw, the first candle should have been wake up and smell the coffee. This isn't. There's too many coordinating indicators just before that. Well, it's difficult. It's not my trading system. It's not a good enough signal for me. So I always miss these trades. So let me study them more. If I'm missing them and there's a way to see it, I want to put those things together into a case study so that I don't miss them anymore. And so what I'm going to do before I'm going over and studying other people's Bollinger Band videos, I'm going to go back through my own videos the last 5 days or so. And every 5 a.m. thing, I'm going to mark out what were we seeing, what were the indicators, and what did we see specifically on these days here that might have given us the warning that this was a bear trap. This was a setup, and that the spring was already set to fly up the other way. Is there a way? Can the indicators actually tell us this? Can this indicator set tell us this? That'll be my detail. Alrighty. Well, you can retract your messages, but it's kind of also in the live stream too. So it kind of doesn't work that way. The way I've got it set up, so it's recording as we go. So that wraps it up for this episode. Just an observational episode to see what's going on. I do believe that we are just about to be breaking higher from this. Certainly the RSI is giving us a divergence or a confirming strength here. The MACD is giving us that crossover divergence on the short time frame, which would say that this is a pullback before the next spring up. And so if you're interested in those things, check it out. You could start off with a very small position and add on to it if you're correct. Only hold it if you are correct. Never hold a trade that isn't proving you correct, because guess what can happen? You can get wrecked. Everyone gets wrecked, right? Everybody stubs their toe before you start looking. Everybody drops a knife on their foot once before you jump out of the way when you drop something from the cupboard. It's reflexive and instant, but we have to make that mistake at least once. Maybe we don't have to make that mistake, but we can learn from somebody who has made that mistake and get the emotional lesson from them, which is the wisest way to learn new things. And then we can apply those things to ourselves. And many of these trading patterns are easy. They're easy to learn. You can learn them. You can repeat them back to me. But actually being able to do them has to do with your emotional connection to money. You have to love money. You have to have a light, free feeling with this, and you have to let go of it just as lightly and quickly if you are not proven correct on the trade. So get your system down, be able to tell it out loud to somebody else so that they can say it. Then you know what you know, that you really know what you're talking about. Practice it over and over again until it becomes a habit. And go find the book, Money is Your Friend. No, Money is My Friend by Phil Laout. Read Money is My Friend. And for me, it really opened up the way I was thinking and feeling about money, that I was unaware that I was doing differently than other people. I didn't realize I was thinking with poverty mindset. I didn't realize how wealthy people were thinking and feeling about money. I didn't realize it was different than how I was thinking and feeling. So when he pointed that stuff out, I was like, wow. And then I started to practice it and to study other things like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and The Wealthy Barber and everything I could. Started to train my way of thinking and feeling about money. And yes, when you get tired of getting wrecked, you change. Now, that's really good. I like that. But there are two things. There's two different lessons in the world that we all learn. This is natural for everything, never mind trading. There are, and I learned this when I was learning martial arts. I got my black belt and I was an instructor for more than 20 years. And so I learned it myself, and then I saw other people learning it as people went through and got their black belts as my students. There's two different ways we learn things. One is the mistake that we get punished for. So if you're doing it wrong and you're not using stop losses and you're letting yourself get liquidated, you're going to get punished for your mistake. And you will learn from that mistake, or you will have to quit trading. It'll just take away all of your money. So those mistakes that you get punished for, we learn. But there are mistakes that you make that you don't get punished for. And if nobody tells you about them, you never even know about the benefits that you missed. Nothing happened. There's no feedback to let you know. The only way to learn about those things is to study with somebody. Take a course with them, join their group, learn what they're thinking, and then practice it yourself. So there are many things in my course that there are nuggets of knowledge that I leave them all over in this live stream as well. So you can pick them up here, but I point them out much more clearly and methodically in the course because I wrote out my trading plan, everything that I learned about trading, and then I took that trading plan and I reorganized it and I said, if I could send this back to myself, to my 20-year-old self, send it back 30 years in time, I could have been trading gold, silver, corn, wheat, oats, soybeans. I could have been trading stocks. I could have been trading equities. And I could have used these lessons in a different order than I learned them, because I learned things in an order that took me thousands of dollars of experience and years of time before I finally was able to get into trading properly again. So if you learn these things, it's good, but if you learn them in the wrong order, you're going to get a lot of lessons that are like those things that you don't want. You're going to have beat up a lot of times before you learn those lessons. So take a course, go and take a lesson with a master and a karate master class, and you pick up 1 or 2 points that can absolutely dramatically change your results in the way you're moving, in the way you're trading, in the way you're feeling about it. And the results that has in the rest of your life are profound. So it's exciting for me to do this stuff. I'm passionate about it because I still have a long ways to go in my own study and trading. And I've decided to create my own university. This is it. You are a student in my university. You can take the course over on introdocryptos.ca. Scroll down to the bottom. As I was saying that on the Brave browser, it's not showing up, but it is on, what browser is this? Chrome. You can scroll down to the bottom and jump in. Send me the webinar. You can also join our Bull Market Watch spreadsheet for $15 a month, which is a crazy deal. We're doing a patron drive at the end of the month, starting up very soon. And you can join up and become a patron member here and have access to this spreadsheet. So look at the data that AOL Chandra put together for us overnight. So if I go over to the Bull Market Watch and I scroll down to the very bottom, look at this. 2 a.m. She has the entire Binance spreadsheet updated according to our trading plan. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m. Oh, I got a couple days in here. Chandra is just amazing. And this is evidence that this trading system is teachable. It's learnable. You can learn it no matter where in the world you are. Doesn't matter. You can learn this stuff. And I can teach it to you. AOL Chandra can teach it to you. We have a number of different lifetime members and course graduates who are all studying the same thing. They can all give you comments and feedback on this system. You can jump in and learn it day by day, a little bit at a time, and start a different approach. Especially if you've been liquidated recently, especially if you've been taking some big losses. If you're feeling the connection here with some of the pain that I've been through in my trading in the past and the money I've lost, then you'll know that I put this spreadsheet together because I was dedicated to the possibilities because I've seen what it's done for me. It's crazy. So I want to share it with you guys. I want you to benefit as well. It helps me because I get questions from you, and it doesn't take away anything from the possible success that I could have in my trading, no matter how much success you have. In fact, it helps me. The more success stories I hear of people trading the 1, 2, 3 bottoms on super tiny time frames with a diverging RSI, the confirming MACD crossover on a bullish trend in a crazy breakout like we've never seen before. This is a pretty good time to put all these things together and start off small, add to it when you're correct. When you are correct, put your stop above your entry, sit on your hands, come and join us on Discord and tell us about your awesome trades. That'll wrap it up for today. I am really excited to go through everything else on these live streams from the last few days, and to correlate that, I'm going to edit it together and present it in not a live stream, but a separate video, so that I'm commenting on my own commentary and putting together how it works in the trading plan, so that it is another case study lesson that is for your subconscious mind, so that you really start to believe in this. And it doesn't take any discipline, right? You're a disciple of a belief system. You couldn't trade otherwise. It doesn't make sense. You learn this stuff, you believe it, this is the way you do it. It makes money. I want to hear those success stories. Now, let me go back. No jack, low jack. When you're tired of it. So nice USDT pump after the arrest. If a newbie is coming in with little money and a couple $100, can they still make money at these prices? Absolutely. I love the question. Bad news triplet. I started with $15 of Bitcoin from tips from Migto, Venison Migto. He gave me a $15 tip. This guy's still on YouTube and doing great stuff. He was on the channel the other day. He gave me a $15 tip, and I started building that up. And I focused on the cryptocurrencies and only on percentage gain. I didn't care about how much money I had. It was $15, right? It was easy just to leave it there and focus on the percentage gain. So for the first long while, I overtraded like a maniac. I just edited this swear out right there. But I overtraded like a maniac. I did like I don't know, it was $2,500 worth of trading back and forth, and I had $15 to $30 in that account in that first month. It was crazy, the overtrading. And I started doing my videos and started analyzing and explaining it, and then I slowed myself down and I left things in. I made 4 different trading accounts and traded each account a different way, and I found the one that works best for me in the situation and my lifestyle and everything. And that's the one I'm teaching now. That's the only one I'm doing. It's really slow and boring. And it really works. It takes very little work. I love it. So I love that question, bad news triplet. I would say the $15 a month fee for the bull market watch is made for the beginning trader like that. $15 a month is a couple cups of coffee. Really, it's a hamburger and a drink nowadays. So it's a very small investment, and I think you're worth it. You have to think you're worth it. Really. Before you're going to love your money and make it work for you and keep that money that comes into your hands. Let's say you make $40,000 a year. You're working an average job. You're doing okay. You've got a car. It's running okay. You've got a little credit card debt. But, you know, if your job was to be lost, in 2 months, you'd be right broke. You'd be right out of money. And if you look back over the last couple of years that you've been living and you're making that $40,000 a year, you go through by the end of the year, you look back and you've given away all your money. You've given away all your money. Everything that you earned, you've given it away to the rent. You've given it away for your car payments, for groceries, for entertainment. You've given it away for some treating yourself, you know, a couple extra beers, you know, a couple extra things here and there. And by the end of the month, you're waiting for payday. And so you're not having the relationship with money that you love money and that money is your servant and your worker, and you want to keep your money and make it work for you. Because at the end of the month, you would have a little bit more money than you had last month, because you've changed the way you're thinking and feeling about that money. You're loving it. And you're saying that, no way, man, you are special. You're staying right here. Let me now grow you. I don't care how you grow and how fast, but you're not going anywhere for the rest of my life. You're going to stay there and work for me forever. So I don't need to ever touch you again. You're going to stay there and work for me. I will take a golden egg from you once in a while, but every month you're always putting away some extra money. Then you know you're going to be one of the 10 to 15% of people who will retire comfortably. 80% of people retire and they are struggling for money. And they've been working their entire lives. They didn't love money enough. And you know why we don't? The banks and the financial institutions control what we learn about money. They feed us the idea that we should be going into debt. They will sell us that debt. It's their sales pitch. We didn't get good financial education. And in fact, it's not taught in schools. Is that a coincidence? No, it isn't. The banks are big enough to control what goes into the school curriculum. And so we don't learn those things. Boom. And I want to help those people who are the same as I was years ago, struggling with money, pissed off about it, not doing well, seeing the potential, feeling the emotion of it, but still screwing myself up in the way I'm dealing with my money. That's what this $15 a month is going to give you, the structure, so that you are steadily rebuilding the habits. Much the same as you're going to assume that it's going to take you 2 or 3 years to get a black belt in karate if you work hard, 3 or 4 years normally. It would be much the same with practicing this with your financial acumen to change the way you think and feel about money, is that you understand it's going to take repetition, lessons, more advanced lessons as you're ready for it, more advanced lessons. Start off with the most basic stuff though. Head over to the website, grab that free webinar, and then ask me, drill me questions. Come over come over to our Discord chat and ask me questions. I swear I won't swear at you. Anyway, so Aaron H says, yes, try to make $20 in profits. Slowly build your bankroll. It's not about how much dollars, it's the percentage gains. Now, Beckham, I think you just signed up over on the website. I've got to follow up with something for you as well. BTC will further crush alts and slaughter. Did I go over Bitcoin dominance? I didn't. I'm out of whack here. Bitcoin dominance, definitely, this is the measure of the alts getting crushed. And if we want to see another measure of the alts getting crushed, we can go into this chart and see the number of blue coins here. No, red coins. Look at this. How many how many exits were there today in Binance? There were 25 coins that went into exit status. We still have 18 in hold status though, that are above the 4-hour exponential moving average. So this is really awesome to see which ones have been filtered out from our trading. But look at that. That's mega bearish just in one day. How long will this last? I don't know, but we're going to study it. We'll have this data here and it'll show you which ones you should be holding, which ones you should be exiting. And so if you are following this strategy, you're going to build a diversified altcoin portfolio at the beginning of the bull market. And whenever that bull market ends, we're going to unfold our positions without thinking about it, without being emotional about it. This is what the plan is. We're going to go in, we're going to go out. It's okay. And because we're doing a diversified portfolio, I'm only putting 1% of my entire account pretty much on any one coin. At the most, 1% of my entire account on any one coin. And so if that coin goes down 10% and I have to get out of that trade, that is representing such a minuscule loss in my overall portfolio. It's okay. And we can do that whole strategy again on the next time we hit a bottom formation, unfold again into the alts, and it will pay off. We will chip out a bit of money on the downtrend as we are testing out additional bottom formations as we have been, but it will pay off. Come to Discord, NoJack Lojack says. Don't worry about being worst past trader there. Oh, I'm in the top competition for some of the worst trades too. Now I remember my first $10,000 day though. My wife and I went out and we celebrated. We brought a chocolate brownie and we had coffee. It was a big celebration. We were excited. We were looking for chocolate cake, but all we could find was a chocolate brownie at that time. And that was the celebration. I didn't go and celebrate when I had my first $10,000 loss day, though. That wasn't as much fun. Anyway, I am going to sign off. I love the live stream. I am super grateful to have you guys along here. I am more grateful for your questions. I am super excited always to hear success stories. And if you've got a big, sad, painful story, come over and join us. Because the risk control approach that we do here, I hint about it here on the live stream. I hope you can pick it up, but I don't really be as obvious. And there is so much more to it that I can't explain to you on the live stream. You've got to come and join. That'll be it. So that's it for now. I love you guys. Thanks again. Namaste. Bye for now.